Well, YouTube, this is HK858, and I want to talk about a few random cards that are tribal support that can come into standard or modern. You can look at my other videos on what cards I can see making it into modern to change up the format, as well as maybe going through standard as one of the options. There's going to be a link in the description below having about a video that will talk about other ways outside of standard that cards can be implemented into modern. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first card I'd like to see is Druid's Call. It's not the greatest, but it's one of the few Squirrel tribal supports I'd love to see making it into standard and maybe modern. See whatever is ran in modern, but mostly standard it would be ran. So to see just what people can build around this card. Outside of that, it's just be more of a standard budget-friendly card. Another real budget card would be Skyshroud Warbeast. Power and toughness equal to the non-basic lands of target opponent that target opponent controls, as well as it has tramples. So I can see this as being a budget-friendly Tarmogoyf in a way. I say is because it's dead against any of the monocolor deck. It's a monocolor decks that have non-basic lands. Outside of that, it'll be at least a 3/3 to 5/5 most games, as well as the fact that it would have trample for 2 mana. So it could be pretty good. For modern, I can see it more played than standard, just because there's more non-basic lands in modern with the best fetch lands ever, the shock lands, etc. Squirrel Wrangler is one of those cards I'd like to see, being reprinted. I even thought of an idea of a dual decks of squirrels versus rats. Not the Nezumi rats, but just the regular, pack rat looking rats. So it'd be squirrels versus rats. It'd be kind of a cool little, interesting 2 creature decks going at it. It could be like a rodent type dual deck. But this would be a great card to see more in standard than anything if they implement squirrels into a block. I'm not saying it'd be like, it'll be the best, but it could be some budget-friendly, casual. And also, like I said, this is one of the tribes I'd love to see supported more, and that's the Squirrels. Takashima Students, a cloning ninja with ninjutsu. Can't go wrong with this. Standard. The only reason I can see this going into standard is if it went into the new standard, they bring back Kamigawa, which I'm still waiting for that to be a thing. Outside of that, it'd be a pretty good card in modern, and it'd be kind of cool to see some more reprints of it with maybe even new art. But outside of that, standard modern would, love to build around it. There'd be players that would love to build around this card. Riddle Keeper, a milling card, 3 mana, 1/4. Any creature that attacks you or a planeswalker you control, you mill that creature's controller's top 2 cards. Any of the mill decks would probably pick this up because it's a defensive wall that assists with the milling process. So, and it as well as it blocks, unless you're willing to take some damage, they're still milling those 2 cards. Excuse me. The next card, Squirrel Mob. This one would be a kind of a cool little mob of squirrels to support a squirrel tribal in the future, either standard or modern. 3 mana where it gets +1/+1 for each other squirrel in play. I know it would actually. I will admit this would probably be one of those cards that won't be seen in standard because it's for all squirrels in play, each other squirrel in play. However, putting this into a modern, and one of my suggestions on how to get cards into modern, it'd be kind of a cool little card as long as there's other squirrels to support this tribe. Outside of that, it's just a 3 mana 2/2 for no reason. The next one is Squirrel Nest. This card I can see going into standard, not a problem, mainly due to the fact it throws it onto a land, and that land, instead of tapping for mana, can tap for a token, and control decks would probably pick it up just to get that extra body out on the field. So it's kind of a cool little creature. Kind of similar to the, I don't remember the card name, but it's the black version of Phyrexian Arena. Tap a land, pay a life, and draw a card. So it has a similarity to it, but this one is a common versus that one would be a rare. Chatter the Squirrel. If they bring flashback and support Squirrels again, this would be a great card to bring back with it. Outside of this probably won't ever see reprinted. Unless they do the Rats vs. Squirrels dual deck idea. That would be kind of cool. Ravenous Baloth, 4 mana for 4/4. Anytime you sack a beast, you gain 4 life. This would be a support for any beast decks, mainly more in standard than modern. Because modern has 2 beasts, or a beast that would replace this at the 4-drop slot. But this would be kind of cool to see in a standard beast deck, if you actually are able to support some beasts. Or they support beasts in one of the sets. Great card for it. Start sacking your creatures, gaining 4 life if you need that extra life for any reason. Now this card is the one I really would love to talk about. Edgewalker. Cleric spells you play cost a black and a white less to play. This only reduces the color of the mana cost. So if there's any 2 mana clerics, there are a few that are black and white. You basically play this and you just play a couple of those other clerics for so much cheaper, and you know, this this card is a great card for a cleric support. I don't know if it would actually be ran through standard at all. Maybe if they do some cleric support. Outside of that, it would probably, I don't know if it would be picked up in modern or not, but it'd be a great card to build around to see if it will be modern viable. So, and then the last one is Dragon Speaker Shaman. 3 mana for a 2/2. Dragon spells cost 2 less to play. This one, like I said, this one's another one of those cards that would be great to run through standard. See if it helps any of the dragons in standard. And modern may or may not pick it up. I would like to see some more supportive cards like this to help reduce the cost of dragons. But outside of that, you know, these are the cards I have. I know it's not the greatest of lists, but it's one of them that I wanted to just get out there, see what anyone thinks about, you know, the list of cards. But yeah, this is HK58, and I'm signing off.